Um, Many of you may have interacted with me either in your interviews or via email. As we move forward towards the beginning of the program in the fall, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Many of you should have my contact information. You can find it on the website, or I also manage our general inbox as well. So I look forward to helping all of you make it to campus, hopefully. Today, we've got Olivia and Owen, who are two of our current students who are getting ready and anxiously, I'm sure, to finish up here in about a month and a half. You are in very good hands. They're going to answer some questions for you guys. Feel free to ask them their experiences of being in the program, anything like that. But yeah, that is my little brief introduction, and I will let you guys enjoy. So again, thank you, and take care. Bye, guys.
Great. Thank you, James.
I'll take it from here. Okay, let's jump to the first questions.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Could you tell us something like pitfalls to avoid or things we should certainly do in the process of coming here or even after we come here? Do you want to share first?
Sure, let me think. I think throughout my experience, so I guess I'll think about before coming here in terms of like the curriculum. The professors, everyone starts at a base level. So even if you have, say experience in machine learning, or you have, some knowledge about finance, maybe you don't, the professors do a really, really good job, in my opinion, of starting everyone at the same baseline. So I think in terms of that, there's not a lot of, if you want to, you can, practice some SQL coding or some Python coding if you just want to be prepared. But again, I think the professors do a very good job of keeping everyone on the same page. Owen, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think my onboarding process is quite smooth, and I will tell a little bit from a perspective of international students, because I just moved into the new US last August from China. And then one thing I would definitely avoid is don't look for apartments until you come. Don't look for apartments after you come here. Always look for the apartments or rent a house before you come here, because as we all know, the housing situation around CMU and University of Pittsburgh is super competitive, and a lot of students, they don't actually have options near the CMU campus, and which cause a lot of inconvenience. That's one thing I can think of. And yeah, definitely agree with Olivia. You don't have to worry about the lecture, the technical depth of the lecture, because the professor will assume that you do not have any programming backgrounds. But it would be great if you can start, if you have time, I will encourage you to start learning some basic SQL, Python, NumPy, and Pandas package, and some machine learning knowledge, and that would make your transition more smooth.
Okay. And they also have TAs and make office hours, so you can, again, go to them for extra help if you need it at any point. They're very helpful.
Mm-hmm. What is something that you wished you did during MSBA, or something that you did that enhanced your experience?
Well, I can go. I think my experience is a little different because I did come in as a student athlete. So during the fall, I was very busy with practice and games and stuff like that. So I think for me, one thing I missed out on was kind of joining all the different clubs or even making time for that, just because I had no time. So I know, Owen, you're in a lot of clubs, so you can probably speak more about that. But I think I would definitely recommend, if you can, joining different clubs. It's a great way to meet other people. It's a great way to network, and it's a great way to just be involved in the Tepper community.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I totally agree. Tepper community is very inclusive and diverse, especially in between the MBA students and the MS students. They are pretty inclusive to us. I think from a lot of business school, the MBA clubs are very exclusively for the MBA students, but not here for Tepper. a lot of professional clubs like finance, consulting, data analytics club, where I serve as a junior board there, and marketing clubs, and also some leisure or unprofessional clubs like culinary and photography and something like that. Whatever interest or whatever domains that you're interested in, you can find a place there. And you can pretty much very actively engage with MBA students, talk with them, network with them. And that is definitely something that enhanced my experience, especially in the business school. Yeah. I was wondering if you are struggling with any subject or anything, other like tutoring centers that will help you overcome any difficulty. Yeah, I can go first. Like Olivia mentioned, we have a lot of office hours from professor and from TA. Usually one class, they will have 1 or 2 TAs, and they have like multiple office hour section. And our professor are quite responsive too. Especially there's few professor who taught us machine learning and Python programming. They usually reply my email very quickly and with detailed answer. And if you have an urgent issue, they might probably also set up a impromptu one-on-one Zoom meeting with you to help you go through the problems. So there are like plenty of resources on a course. And on the other level, like we also have like a communication center organized by the second year MBA students, and we can reach out to them to schedule mock intervals, to schedule practice your behavioral questions or mock consulting case. And I think there are plenty of resources that you can reach out to. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I have nothing to add on that front.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Can you please walk us through each semester briefly, such as the internship, also within the same 9 months? I don't think we have internship because we are like within a 1-year program. And that basically means we need to find a full-time job as soon as we join. And you can also like most of the students here will start recruiting in spring, but we are aiming for the full-time positions instead of the internship opportunity. And I think we have the capstone projects starting from this spring, which means we have the opportunity to work with an actual enterprise or startup. And if you select the right projects, they might probably provide you with a very official, like unofficial title, but very official working environments. For example, my company is called Industrial Scientific. They set up like a Amazon workspace, the employee accounts for us so that we can actually access their database. It's like a part-time internship for us. And walk us through each semester briefly. I think for the detailed courses, you can refer to our program website. They're like a complete course list. And how about like talking the experience like from mini 1 to here, Olivia? Like briefly.
Yeah. So let's see. So yeah, it's a 9-month program. And within each semester, you essentially have 2 mini semesters. So again, it's a very fast-paced, a heavy course load. But like the professors, you're very supported, which is great. So again, the first 2 minis, I would say, are pretty much just an introduction to a lot of materials, so a lot of stats, machine learning, learning how to use Python, things like that. And once you get into the second semester, which is where we are now, you definitely get a deeper dive into the machine learning methodologies for different business domains, I would say. So you gain a greater perspective, I would say, in the second semester. But again, I forget what the link is. But our MSBA program will have much more detail about the specific courses, and you can find them there.
Yeah, and I want to add on that each courses in each semester is not completely independent. It's like they will build upon on the previous semester. For example, the first semester is like a very fundamental course, business fundamentals, programming in R and Python, which we will use very extensively in the following 3 minis, and then stats. And then, for example, the machine learning foundation course in mini 3 is actually based upon on the statistical foundation in machine learning on mini 2. And then there are like a more analytics course starting from mini 3, like analytical marketing, my favorite one. And also mini 4, we have financial analytics and also supply chains. And then they are completely based upon on the skills or the programming language we learn in mini 1 and mini 2. So it's like a very step-by-step progress. It's not independence for each topics. Yep. Hi, I'm curious about how students usually balance the daily workload alongside extracurriculars given the mini semester format. Do you want to start? Because you are a student athlete, and I'm pretty sure you're much more busy. Yeah.
Yeah, I can start. So yeah, I was a student athlete for a little bit. I'm also working part-time. I'm continuing my internship from the summer. So I also have, that taking up some of my time. And I think that it's definitely manageable. As long as you have, I think as a student here, you're going to develop very good organizational skills as well as time management skills. So I just think making the best use of your time is super, super important. And again, yeah, I think the professors, the faculty, even your peers, the students here are super supportive, and again, will just help you get all your work done on time while you also have time for yourself. So again, I think it is super manageable. You just have to hone in on your organizational skills for sure.
Yeah, totally agree. It's indeed challenging, but completely manageable. And we, for example, I come from a completely business background. I don't have many like very in-depth programming backgrounds. So I struggle a little bit in mini 1, but thanks to the very many office hours or resources provided by professor, I kind of like can manage the time more smoothly, and then spare out a decent amount of time for the job hunting and the other clubs engagements or extracurricular activities. And one thing very important, and especially in business school, like every MBA students they will have a Google Calendar, and they will like block out every sections of the calendar. It's like indeed the schedule is really full, but that is kind of a time management tricks that you can make the most out of this 9 months. And also you can start thinking about what kind of stuffs are truly important to you at this phase to prioritize the thing you want to achieve. Yeah, I think don't need to worry too much. And if you have challenge, you have struggles, you can always talk to our program director, and he will give you a lot of insights. Yeah. Which locality for housing would you just suggest for the incoming students? Where do you live? Where do you live, Olivia? Which area?
I live in Squirrel Hill.
Oh, Squirrel Hill. I'm jealous.
That's a big graduate student.
Yeah. Squirrel Hill is like you can take bus very quickly, like 10 minutes or 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes away.
Yeah. It's very convenient, and it has a lot of restaurants and supermarkets nearby.
Yes.
I am on the other side. My side is called North Oakland, North Cray Street. It's more convenient because you can actually walk to the campus within 10 minutes. But the downside is it's a food desert. It's like there's not many restaurants around. So there's like a pros and cons. And for more information, you can actually go to some renting website and see a look around. And actually for me, my top priority is I must live near the campus, because I don't want to spend much time on the commutes of course, if you have a car, you can also consider living in downtown, which is more fancy. Yeah.
And there's also Shady Side as well. A lot of
Shady
graduate
Side.
students live there, and it's a really nice area.
Yeah. Definitely check out those areas. When do you start? When do you suggest us to start looking for housing? In my experience, exactly in April last year, I started looking for housing, and I heard some of my classmates, they are around to admitted students, and they started looking house in late May or early June, but there are not many options left for them, and some of them are forced to live in downtown, very far away from CMU. So my advice is as soon as possible. Yeah. Okay, next question. Since it's a 9-month course, any tips on how to successfully cope with academics and a job search parallelly? You want to start?
Sure, I can start. I think my experience is a little bit different. But again, so coming in, I was expecting the job search to kind of occur right away. And for some industries, it does. But again, I realized later on that a lot of recruiters, when they're hiring, they want to hire for individuals who can work within, a month, 2 weeks. And as a full-time MSBA student, that wasn't, possible. So I think for me, and if I was to do this over again, I think focusing at least on the first semester strictly on academics, making those connections, possibly networking with some companies you might be interested in, but not overcommitting on the job search. That will come later, and you'll have time for that. And it's happening in full force right now because we're graduating, and so a lot of these employers are actually, interested in these individuals because we have that ability to work soon. So yeah, I think at least in my experience, that first semester definitely focus more on just the academics and the networking side of things, I would say.
Yeah, I have a slightly different timeline because I started recruiting last September, basically as soon as the program start. And I totally agree, like what Olivia has said. A lot of positions they requires immediately on site and immediately on board, which means and that resulted in a lot of our classmates are going full force in the current semester to look for a job that require the immediate on board. But I'm different, and I was aiming for tech and consulting campus recruiting, and they have the fall recruitment, especially for consulting industry. They only have one round of recruiting each year, which is the fall recruitment. So me together with several MSBA cohorts, we together start recruiting last September, and few of us got the offer before the Christmas. And yeah, this is a completely different timeline. But if you have the energy, if you have the time, I would strongly recommend you to start as soon as possible. That way you will have like both of the opportunities. But please make sure before you start applying, you need to have you need to done a lot of research, network, and also practice behavioral into halfway prepare you to be a good candidates before you actually start. Yeah.
Owen, I know you have to leave at 12:30, right?
Yeah.
So there's some questions that I was looking that I might,
Sure.
Such as, you tell me if it's beneficial to take the GMAT exam beforehand. Like, do any recruiters demand GMAT scores while recruiting? Have you had any? I haven't had any, recruiters demand the GMAT scores, but I don't know if you've had a different experience with that one.
The GMAT score, I don't think in recruiting they will ask us for the GMAT or GRE score. That is kind of weird. I definitely heard like some particular investment banking, they will require this kind of GMAT quantitative score, but for 99% of the job, they don't even ask your GPA or anything. No, your job experience and your performance during the interview is the top two like criteria when they select.
And then, there was one more about the timeline of receiving the I-20 after submitting deposit, if possible.
Yeah, let me see. Which question is that?
It's down below. Yeah.
As an international student, I wanted to understand on the timeline of receiving I-20 after submitting deposit, if possible. Let me see. I think is completely possible. Like after you submit the deposit, you can start reaching out to the student service of Tepper or the admission team, and they will start arranging the I-20 for you. And my advice is do it sooner than later, especially when you're outside of the States, because it takes time to issue the I-20 and it takes time to schedule the US embassy's talk. And then some of our classmates, they receive the missions pretty late, like in June, but still they managed to get I-20 on time. So don't need to worry about too much, but start sooner than later. Yeah.
Great. Okay, we can go back to where we were. So I think the next question was, would you guys like to share a bit of your career path? Do you have any full-time or part-time jobs for the MSBA program? Do you want to go first?
Oh, sure. Yeah, before Tepper MSBA, I actually worked as a data analyst at trip.com in Shanghai for roughly a year, more specifically like 10 months. And before that, I was studying my undergraduate in marketing. And yes, I have like a less than a year full-time experience, but not very impressive, because a lot of recruiters, they will think like any full-time experience within 1 year as new graduate. So I'm basically in the same level. And in terms of my future career, I will start working as a data scientist, marketing data scientist at one of the MBB consultant in New York starting in July. And basically this program, the add-on value of this program is it helped me to transform from a more inclined to business background, from a data analyst to a more technical data scientist. Yeah, but to be honest, if you want to pursue a career in data scientist, you need to do more self-learning outside of the classroom, outside of our curriculum, because this program is mainly designed for business analysts, data analysts, and we focus primarily on the analytical insights from the data instead of purely engineering the backend side or software engineering.
Yeah, I can go. So I graduated from my undergraduate university this past May in 2022. So I went right into the master's program. I have some, internship experience, part-time internship experience that I'm continuing. I was working on the data engineering team for, an insurance tech startup, and then I actually moved to the analytical team. And I think that's been super useful in helping me kind of figure out the kind of work I like, and also maybe the industries I want to not work in, or go to a different industry. So I'm still in the interview process, and I'm looking at some fintech companies, some sports analytic companies, but really all across all of the different industry domains.
I see. And your former role is data engineer, right? And during internship?
Yeah, I was working as a data engineer over the summer, and throughout this year, and I actually just moved to the analytics side. So now I'm working as a data analyst.
Yeah, cool. Next question, how do you best utilize the MCC Yeah, I definitely gain a lot of benefits and help from the career center. And even before the program start, we will be assigned as a one-on-one career coach, and which is quite flexible. You can change your coach. And even before I arrive in the States, I work with my coach to finish completing my resume, revising my cover letter, practice my behavioral questions. And then during the boot camp in late August, we'll organize a series of like networking sessions to tell you how to network on LinkedIn, how to send a code message, how to code with like how to behave in the career fair, what kind of things you need to do. And along the way, we will closely work with the assigned MCC career coach on resume, behavioral questions, mock interview. They're very, very responsive, and you can send them any questions you want, and their availability is much higher than the other schools in CMU. For example, during my recruitment season last fall, I basically scheduled 1 or 2 one-on-one call or mock interview with one of the career coaches that matches my past experience and the role I'm applying for. And yeah, I think that's basically the help I gain from that. And except for that, our program director, Kevin, also very actively invites a lot of guest speakers from different industry working in the data analytics field to share with us some experience or tips for interview. And yeah, do you have any add-on, Olivia?
No, I think that was great. Perfectly summed up.
Yeah. Are you guys able to work on campus? Is it advisable? How do you think?
I don't know about specifically on-campus jobs. I think some of our peers have one, but they had to wait until the following semester.
Yeah, I think Peter, he served as the TA role of optimization that course. Is a mini 3. I think it's completely possible. And if you can manage the course load, you can apply for TA or some research assistance. But mostly will happen after the spring semester. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how many hours he works?
I'm not sure. Like basically 8 to 10 hours per week.
Yeah.
Basically, checking the homework from the students and host the office hour. And
yeah, I think that from my experience, that's pretty manageable. I do a little more and it can be a little time consuming, but 8 to 10 hours is definitely manageable.
I had 2 questions. One regarding if we could able to access the previous admitted student webinar held on April 6th. I think you can definitely send an email to the admission team or Kevin, our program director, and hopefully they have the recordings. And will we be assisted with the housing facilities while moving? I think we need to do it independently. We don't have specific help or assistance when helping us to move in, but you can always reach out to our students service center. They will give a lot of valuable advice of the renting companies or the moving company. Yeah. And Olivia, would you mind take up the following few questions? I try to type a link of the previous recording sessions to the chat and
Okay. All right, let's see. How are you able to network with alumni and companies within Pittsburgh? So again, I think there are a lot of like different coffee chats you can have with alumni, which, our program will host. There's a lot of events where alumni will come in and talk about their current, job role status. So I think that's a great way to kind of learn about the different roles individuals from this program have entered. I think also the MCC is a great way to kind of get in touch with alumni or different companies within Pittsburgh. They have a great, a great network and can easily get you in touch with those companies. So again, I think it's super supportive, and just kind of going to those different events that the MSBA program hosts, as well as talking to your counselor about it, is a great way to network. Okay. Next question. Do we get a stipend during the capstone project? So no. So the capstone project is mostly just for you to kind of relay all the skills that you've done so far and showcase them, but you're not getting paid for it. The companies will give you access to all of their resources, which is super kind. But again, it's not like a transactional relationship. So
Yeah,
no.
because it's basically an opportunity to practice and trial and make mistakes without any cost. So it's like very valuable opportunity, but we don't have the compensation or not.
Okay, let's see. If I barely have any work experience before, would it be a good idea to defer 1 year to do some interns first? I think that is personal preference. I don't think you need that. I think the point of this full-time MSBA program is actually it adheres to, college students who are just graduating or who have very little experience, work experience. So I think that is a choice that you have to make for yourself, but I don't think it should matter that much entering this program. I'm not sure if you have a different opinion, Owen, but
yeah, I think it totally depends on what's your goal and what's your planning is. If you want to add more experience to your data analytics skills, you can definitely achieve it and studying in this program. But if you are in a stage where, like me, last year, I took a gap year because I'm not sure if I really can handle the data analytics field. So I find a full-time position exactly in this role, in the relevant role. And after I experience, I find myself really want to pursue the career in data science or data analytics. And in this case, it helps you decide, help you like foster your career aspirations. I think in this mean you can definitely take a year off. But yeah, it totally depends on what's your schedule, what's your plan.
okay. To dive a bit deeper, how has your experience been with the capstone project? What is the selection process and the usual scope or topics? So talk about the logistics first. So our program attempts to get, I think it was 10 different companies, 10 companies for us to work with. And you're usually in a group of 5, so with your peers working on this capstone project. You kind of select, I think it was like top 3, or you would rank the programs that you were most interested in and the ones you were least interested in, and you were randomly assigned, hopefully, to one of your,
That's
top
kind of
half.
interesting because our professor Amar, he actually designed an algorithm, which is basically adopted by a lot of schools, including MIT. For this algorithm to work, we need to put down our top 3 preferences company, and the algorithm will automatically assign and basically will match most of your preferences. And I think most of the students are happy with the assigned team and company. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the companies are, larger companies, some of them are smaller. So depending on what you want to get out of it, there's a lot of, a big range. Personally, in my experience, I'm with a smaller company. I'm with Lineberg Services, and essentially what they do is they, give their clients very cutting edge information, through a subscription service. And I think it's been a really good experience because, we get to apply these applications that we've been learning to a real world setting. And in the real world, data is always not clean. You do not always have all the information you need. We've had to be very innovative in how we go about solving, their business problem that they presented us with. And so I think that is a very unique experience of this program, and a very rewarding one.
Yeah, the scope and topics are basically very surrounded within the business analytics zone. Some are more inclined to business analytics, like the consulting style, and a lot more is with actual data sets that you can manipulate on, do the EDA, do the modeling, do the optimization. And in my experience, I work for a local medium-sized company in Pittsburgh. It's called Industrial Scientific. And we are dealing with a term predictions problems. They want to predict which customer will term in the following years, which requires us to build a lot of like predictive models, and then to calculate lifetime value, something like that is like very, very aligned with the actual data science projects we will encounter in our future career. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Could you tell me where I can find the information on professors who teach an MSBA program, particularly in like the course and the professor who takes that course?
I think
it should be on the website, right?
It should be online in the program course page, and then you click in the detailed informations, and then it will show which professor will teach this class. Yeah, you can definitely explore that. If not, you can send an email to our admission team, and they will provide you a list.
Yeah. I'm actually going to try and find that link and send it in here.
Sure.
If you want to continue, Owen.
Sure. What kind of support you receive or are you receiving from departments with respect to your job search? I think we have answered these questions, like not only from the MCC Career Center, career coach, but also from our program director, who invited a lot of industrial analytics leader to do the networking session, sharing session. And also we have support from the second year MBA students. They organized the communications coach for us that we can talk to or revise resume with them together, because some of them will have analytics background, some of them will have software engineer backgrounds, which will be more aligned with our future career goal. And we also share the complete resource with the CMU career resource as a whole. We can attend different career fairs in the fall, in the spring, and which is quite useful because as far as I know, 3 people from our programs got the offer from the CMU career fair. And yeah, I think that those are the supports in a very high level. What's the job? Next question. What's the job search process for you guys like? Do many students manage to secure a job before graduating? Yeah, as we mentioned, we didn't have a complete statistics of how many students already got a job, but these statistics may be reviewed after the program finish or within 2 months. And currently, a lot of students still looking for roles as approach to graduations. And several of us, including me, have secured a job before the spring semester in the fall semester. Yeah, and those are some information we can share right now. Were the courses more teamwork oriented or individual based, specifically the technical course? Do you want to take that question?
Yeah. Also, before I have the link, do you know how I can
I think
share
you can just type answer to any of one of the questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they can see it, right? I'm not
Let's
sure.
see. I just sent that link to the question we're answering, I think. So hopefully you guys can see that.
Yeah.
That will give you, again, the courses in more detail.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, so I think a lot of our courses are very teamwork oriented. A couple of the technical courses like machine learning, there are individual based assignments. But again, you can like kind of discuss the different methodologies. You just have to, do your own work. But yeah, I think a lot of the courses are teamwork, and and they want it to be like that because again, in the real world, you're going to probably be working on a team to solve these business problems. And I think it's also super helpful just to, some people have more programming experience and have more business domain knowledge. And so again, you're expanding your horizons in that sense. And it's very useful to kind of understand where different individuals are coming from and how you guys can all work together collectively to kind of solve whatever problem you're solving. So,
yeah.
And then again, that link should send you to the
you can send it to
curriculum page.
the latest message.
Yeah, hopefully you can see that. Let us know if you can.
Who's your favorite faculty member and why? For me, there was like 2 to 3. My favorite one. The first one is definitely Amar.
Yeah,
I love
100%.
his teaching style. Especially I come from very non-technical backgrounds, and he's actually he actually came here just the same time as we do. He changed from MIT Sloan. He was a professor of the MIT Operation Research, and then he started working for CMU just last August, and kind of like a academic director for this program. And he taught us programming in R and Python, machine learning foundations, and also supervise the entire experiential learning, including the capstone projects. And I really loved the way he explained and how he focused on implementing or applying technical terms or machine learning models in solving the business problems, but not focusing on the model itself, but the actual problem solving process. Yeah. And also the other faculty I like is Alan, who taught us analytical marketing. And he's like a guru in marketing analytics. He's like a PhD lead in Tepper at Tepper School of Business, and very experienced. And his course is very hardcore, using a lot of programming to solve marketing analytics challenge. Yeah. What about you, Olivia?
Yeah, I mean, I love Mir as well. I think he's a great lecturer, and I learned a lot from him. So he's definitely my favorite. I think I've also enjoyed our professors this semester. Our data analytics and finance professor. I like, again, I really enjoy engaging lectures because I just think you learn more and you stay engaged. And so he does a really, really good job teaching the concepts of that course, and also how machine learning methodologies can be applied. So that is a really engaging course as well.
What industries are most of you targeting and getting offers from? As I mentioned earlier, we mostly targeted the tech industry and the consulting industry. And because, this year is a very horrible job market and situation for us. It's like the most challenging year ever since our program started to the end. It's like all in off nonstop. So a lot of us just change directions to more inclined to consulting, to investment banking, or some are for traditional industries, and some startups. Yeah, just flexibly change the directions.
What was it about CMU MSBA that really stood out to you during your decision-making process? For me, I liked all the resources that the MSBA program offered. Again, the MCC, the career counselor, that was super unique and has been very, very helpful in our job search. The ALC, which is, Accelerate Leadership. I forget the C, but they're very helpful. Yeah, center in developing your leadership skills, how to become, a better interviewer even. And then again, I just think our director himself has been super engaged with our cohort, wanting to make it the best experience as possible, want to support us in, however he can. And so those, even before I came here, was reaching out. And so I think those were just really unique aspects of a program and of a community as a whole. And so really committed, really pursued me to go in this direction.
Yeah. And for me, the decision process is I aspire to go into a program that is not completely technical, because I know myself as I'm not a very techie or coding geek. I am more like an analytic person. So I would firstly prefer the MSBA program under the business school instead of engineer school, because in the future, especially after ChatGPT, we need more analytic talents instead of purely coder. And then I start researching Tepper School of Business stand out to me because is one of the very few business schools that can combine technology, combine the resources, the strength of CMU into the business course. And it's actually a very good combination of the tech, the tech and the business, and also the reputation of CMU, and also the program length. I think those are the key decision factors when I decided to come here. Yeah. Hi, Owen, you said that you study as a marketing. What made you choose MSBA at Tepper over MS in marketing analytics? Yeah, sure, I can answer that questions. As I mentioned, when I choose the program, I will go through its curriculum. I not only need a technical depth, but also need a program that can actually apply data science or data analytics as a tool to actually drive business insights or decision making. And then I think that Tepper MSBA program can actually offer this comprehensive list of curriculum, and also I think the marketing analytics program I admitted last fall, the reputation is not as good as CMU. So that's why I didn't choose the marketing analytics. And under this program, you will have opportunity to experience different kind of track. For example, in Mini 3, we took the marketing analytics course, which is very aligned with my career aspirations, and I closely work and talk with our professor and gain a lot of insights. So there's certain way of flexibilities that you can choose or explore the internal resources to make the program more aligned with your career path, which for me is marketing analytics. Yeah. Do many international students search for a job within the US or return home to work? As we mentioned, we don't know the exact statistics now until we graduate. But I think from the start of the program, our program director has done a very brief survey, and 80 to 90% of our cohort will want to stay in the States, especially for the international students. Yeah. Like you mentioned, since you had work for less than a year, you're only being considered for fresher roles. I had similar questions. I work with data science in a fintech company about 2 years. Now I want to make a shift to consulting firm after MSBA. Do you think I'll consider for something more than? Yes. I think we have a classmates. We have a classmates with a very similar backgrounds as you. He worked as a data science in a tech company in China for around one and a half to 2 years. And then in the last fall recruitments, he successfully get an offer in IBM, the senior data science role. So I think you can definitely do the same. Are there any opportunities to work with real-world data rather than in capstone projects? Yes, I think basically in many analytics course and machine learning course or programming course, we will have the data sets. We will have the real world data sets, not completely from the company, not only from the company, but also from the very public data source that you can manipulate on, and that kind of simulate a real world scenario. And what's your experience, Olivia?
Yeah, I would say that as well, especially now during this semester. I will say in the beginning that a lot of the data sets are kind of fictitious, or they're nice looking, just because we're trying to work on the methodologies. But again, I think there are a lot of opportunities, like such as case competitions, where you can again work with real world messy data if you choose to do so. I think, Owen, you might have a little more information about that than I would, but there are other opportunities, yes.
Yeah, there are like a lot of data competitions organized by the DA clubs, the MBA club, and you can definitely have the opportunity to mess up with the real world data. And I also remember in the Python and R programming course, in the final exam, we actually use a real world data set, like the Pittsburgh bike sharing data, which is kind of messy, and we do the data cleansing, feature engineering, some stuff. Yeah, we definitely have the opportunity. From a networking point of view, any idea on how to compares with MBA from Tepper? What do you mean by compares with MBA? Let me see. I don't think we are like a comparison or competitions with the MBA cohort. And actually we gain a lot of help from the MBA cohort as a whole. And they are very enthusiastic and willing to help, especially we are the first year program. And they know we are the first year, and they're willing to help whatever they can to give us advice or referral and something like that. So it's never a comparison. Yeah. You'll be working as a data scientist, right? Or as you come from a business background, how do you manage to get a full-time offer as a data scientist in the first semester itself? Yeah, like I mentioned, I do not come from, my undergraduate program is completely business, but before CMU, I work as a data analyst for roughly a year, even though I did not build model in that role. It's basically using SQL and some data visualization, do the A/B testing, do the data retrieval, dashboarding and stuff. But I have the analytics space, and from the start of the program, I will like self-study a lot, because my recruitment timeline is a little bit early, and our machine learning class is in Mini 3 and Mini 4, which means I have to self-learn a lot of machine learning fundamentals by myself in the fall semester. And if you have the energy and time, I would definitely recommend you to like prepare in advance of your technical skills, of your behavioral interval and your resume. Just get started as soon as possible. And that's how I managed to get a full-time role as a data science. Yeah.
I think the next two questions we can kind of answer together because they're both about the capstone. First one is, do many students get hired through capstone projects? And the second was, do students create the team, or are they assigned to one by professors for the capstone? So the second half, we kind of already talked about that. Our professor will create an algorithm. So again, you pick your preferences, and then you're assigned randomly to hopefully one of your top projects, but whichever capstone project you're chosen for, along with some other peers. I personally, do many students get hired through the capstone project? I don't believe so. I don't think anyone has been hired, but I'm not sure. Owen, do you have any knowledge about that?
I think from my experience, it's definitely a good networking opportunity. And
Mhm.
because a lot of startups and companies are now hiring freeze. I'm not sure if the next cohort will be better, but from this cohort, we do not have this scenario. But
Yeah.
one of my teammates, she got an offer in consulting, but unfortunately the company delayed her onboarding time. So she's considering to talk with the capstone projects, the company, and see if they can place her a temporarily internship after she graduate to contain the status, visa status in the States before her defer full-time offer. So I think there's opportunities but not guaranteed. Yeah.
So what does the boot camp look like? Again, I think Owen, you might want to take this one just because
Yeah.
I was pretty absent due to athletics.
The boot camp is like roughly a week, and then we just like would do a lot of fun activities, including the co-star introduction. I remember like the first day I met you, Olivia, and we do
Yeah.
some games to get to know each other, to do the ice breaking, and then we also have a field trip to a mountain or some place that we do the outdoor activities and some challenges that we work together as a team. It's like a team building events. It's pretty fun. And from a more academic perspective, we have like a networking base camp, which basically tell you how to network, how to reach out to people on LinkedIn. We also have behavioral interval boot camp, which means we will practice on the spot, practice our elevator's pitch, our self-introduction, the behavioral interval. Make sure even before your program start, you're 90% ready for the career fair or any behavioral questions during the job search and interval. And also there will be a lot of clubs members or different kind of departments leaders coming to pitch or show how you can manage or use the resources, or how can you join or actively engage in the Tepper community. It's like not stressful, but it's like a general smooth transition onboarding to the course. Yeah. How many of you are there in the current MSBA batch? There are 52 students. Is it true that every student has a separate career counselor that help them find a job? Yeah, we have a one-on-one assigned career coach, even though one coach may manage like multiple students, but most of the time we have one-on-one Zoom meeting with them. It's not a group meeting, and we can easily book their calendar on online system. And I think there's like a limited time. One week I booked like 3 times for mocking the MBB consulting case, and yeah. And you can flexibly change directions. Some counselor, some career coach is more familiar with the tech industry, some are more familiar with the finance or consulting. You can just based on your preference. Yeah. What's the diversity like in your class? Are there more people from a tech backgrounds, or is it evenly distributed? I think from a perspective of the academic backgrounds, it's very diverse. You can refer to the program official website. There's like a percentage of which industry we are from. I think it's half-half from my experience. Like I am from a more I'm from a more business side, and there's like the other student ambassador like Sanjay and Jay, they're from software engineer, they're from an engineering background, and also some are from music development or philosophy backgrounds, like a lot of mix of different subjects. And yeah, that's the information I know so far.
Yeah. I think those are all the questions.
Yes.
But yeah, if the, any other questions come up later upon once we leave, sure you can reach out to Kevin or James or just the MSBA general inbox or even one of us. You can follow us on we have class profiles on the MSBA website, and you can just shoot us an email if any other questions come up. But yeah,
that's it. And
yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, congrats again.
All of you for yeah. And thanks, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, Owen.